Hey, everybody, and welcome to the third episode of our broadcast, the Brain Function series, brought to you from the Togetherness Media, Los Angeles. This is Mohammad Nami, and I'm very fortunate to be with you throughout this course of discussions where we get a chance of talking about some facts, ideas, and nuts and bolts in how this brain, this fascinating, miraculous organ between our ears, puts together who we are and what happens when things go awry. And we'll also be discussing around some key ideas about the pathologies, about the diseases in the brain, and also the spinal cord and the peripheral autonomic nervous system. Also, some updates on the frontline advances and technologies in the field of neuroscience throughout the course of this program. In the third episode of this discussions, we are here to talk about another key term in neuroscience, and that is neuropathology. Strictly speaking, and by definition, neuropathology refers to a whole range of disorders or malfunctions or, issues and insults to the brain, spinal cord, and autonomic peripheral nervous system. So there are many reasons for that. Some of them are acutely happening. Some of them are just, happening by time. So they are like chronic disorders. There are many different reasons behind this kind of issues, and we don't really always think about that even. And we refer to a doctor, a neurologist, or psychologist, psychiatrist, or whoever whose field is working on different aspects of neurological disorders when something is actually happening, because this brain functions so impeccably and so spotlessly good in a way that we even don't forget that we need to check up, we need to make sure that the brain also function in an appropriate way as per our age and our status. So by this, what I'm going to highlight here is the significance of early detection of the disorders, is to do the checkup of the brain function, brain health, and mental aptitude, if you like. So let's back to the term neuropathology. The reasons behind neuropathology and the disorders in the nervous system could be vast. They might be because of issues like trauma or acute insults or vascular changes in the brain. Also, it might be because of lack of oxygen delivery to the brain, and as well as dysregulation in the immune function in nervous system, and specifically in the brain when we have the autoimmune brain disorders such as multiple sclerosis and also some other disorders of that sort. And from the other perspective, neural disorders are categorized, and neuropathology is in general categorized under two key terms, and they are two different mechanisms and processes that define the pathologies to the brain. One is neurodegenerative processes, and the other is neuroinflammatory processes. And a specific brain and nervous system disorders are being classified under each umbrella term that we just discussed about. Neurodegeneration means the brain changes by time for not being so vital as it used to be, and that's because of the insult that free radicals, all the waste materials, and all the insights from the periphery and from the environments just hampers the brain function by time. So the neurons will get shrunk, and they will have less capacity of functioning. The synapses are lost, and by time, some functions like memory, attention, learning, emotion control, language, and also motor aptitude and sensory performance, they are being negatively impacted. These are called neurodegenerative disorders, and we can have some examples for neurodegenerative disorders like Parkinson's disease, or for instance, when we're talking about some problems like dementia or Alzheimer's dementia, Alzheimer's disease, Huntington disease, and amyloid deposition in the brain. Also, we have the amyotrophic lateral sclerosis and mitochondrial disease and neural deterioration in the brain or spine. So these are the degenerative changes which are normally happening by time, or sometimes the course of the disease is so advanced and we need to take immediate and also long-term measures to counteract those issues. So in that sense, we got to be pretty much cautious to prevent, to predict, and also to approach these diseases from the therapeutic perspective in a very personified or personalized fashion. And this is called personalized neuromedicine. The other key term, or another umbrella term under neuropathology, was neuroinflammatory processes. Many of the psychiatric disorders like depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, PTSD, many of other different kind of neuropsychological issues and also neurological issues may root in inflammation in the brain. So when the inflammatory processes or inflammatory mediators, they are outweighing the normal function of the brain, then those disorders were come into play. And this is where the kernel of the fact comes in. And that's a long-term insufficiency in different paradigms and different domains of our brain and nervous system function. So medication therapy, non-pharmacological therapies, and also neurorehabilitation, these are the things that we might be pursuing to prevent those kind of things, but to treat those kind of things. But before treatment, that's all I'm saying. Before treatment, early detection, pursuing the screening of brain function and state of brain health and functionality, if you want to put it like that, it is really important. So as we go for brain, spine, and mental health screening, we might be preventing and predicting and also approaching at the right time for the therapeutic interventions in a very personalized manner. So in summary, what we discussed here was the meaning and implications of the word neuropathology. While the brain works quite beautifully, very impeccably, but by time, some malfunctions, some insufficiencies may show up. So before they show up, we shall be following a good brain-friendly lifestyle habits, exercise, and also good diet habits, proper sleep, and avoiding substance, smoking, alcohol, and also be able to improve our soft skills for anxiety and stress managements and stuff like that. So by this, we're going to live a lifestyle which is good for the brain, number one. And number two, we check in time if there is something emerging which are untoward our health. So by that, we may be ahead of the game. We may be able to prevent and predict and also properly manage what happens. And there are lots of things to be discussed around any of these key terms as we move throughout this discussion course. And we just today focused on the key term neuropathology, so to speak. And thank you very much for following these discussions. And I hope that next time we'll be discussing even more about different peculiarities and aspects of how these issues may hamper our function by time, and how we can prevent them to live a better life in terms of our brain health. Thanks for following this. See you then. Thanks.